Welcome to JW News. My name is Vern Hool, and today we have a few news articles from, guess what, from February 14th. So these were both posted on February 14th. That's Valentine's Day. Well, this one was February 13th. So right around Valentine's Day, we have Jehovah's Witness shot dead in Rockford, suspect at large. And then we'll be taking a look at the target of a murder attempt used an iPad to deflect a bullet at close range. And it talks about this at an Evanston church. Well, that's at a Kingdom Hall, and we'll take a look at that article. And then we're going to take a look at Jehovah's Witness run away from bogus copyright claims after judge realizes they're just trying to intimidate us guys, the critics. So this was interesting. And last of all, we'll take a look at a scripture from Luke. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. So this first article is from Rockford, Illinois. And if you don't know where that is, I have a map here. So it's right here, right by the Great Lakes, right by Chicago. And this is the town, Rockford. I'm going a little closer. And this is where a Jehovah's Witness was shot dead. Suspect is at large. What happened? Well, the police said that the 54-year-old Perez was canvassing neighborhoods with his family for the Jehovah's Witnesses when he was shot dead Saturday morning. So how many of us out there, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses perhaps, we remember going door to door, and in the days I was doing it, we didn't hear a lot about this kind of thing. But today we are living in a different world. There's a lot of problems going on within the congregations, and these problems are not getting resolved. So we'll go on to talk about what happened here. Well, according to the police, Perez was waiting in his car while his family members were going door to door. And the witnesses said that a white vehicle passed and the occupants fired shots at Perez as it went by. Officers arrived to find him sitting dead with gunshot wounds in the car. And this is a picture of the fellow that got shot. So police have issued an arrest warrant for the 15-year-old in relation to the murder. Rockford said Jerry Peterson said that this startled many neighbors. One thing he emphasized was the gun violence in the area is nothing new. So it goes on to talk about other residents. They've seen gun shootings in the area, so it's not a new thing. So this murder has caused concern for Peterson and other neighbors who may be worried about something like sitting in their car during the day. He said he may be forced to live elsewhere if the danger continues. So it goes on to talk about some of the stuff happening. So it's a sad situation that this happened to this brother. And, it goes to show that it is safer actually to do witnessing at home, not to be out as a target. And because of all the unrest now, there's so many things happening within the Jehovah's Witness religion. All the sex offenders are getting exposed, and who knows what's going to happen next. So the next article we're going to look at, it's actually from the same kind of area. So it's from this little area called Skokie, and it's right around the Great Lakes again. And this is a target of a murder attempt, and an iPad deflected the bullet at close range. So these are two brothers that are having an argument. So we'll look at it here. The victim of the murder attempted outside of the Evanston church. That's the Kingdom Hall. And the bullet fired at a point-blank range using an iPad in a bag, authorities said. So he deflected the bullet. So the two brothers are fighting over $250,000, and the one brother kept going after the other guy and said, "Give me my money, give me my money." So the other guy said, "No, I don't have it. I don't have your money." And so he finally went there and with a gun and shot the guy, but the guy put his case up and he had an iPad in there, and the iPad deflected the bullet. All he had was a shattered finger, nothing. And this is a close range. So probably the Jehovah's Witnesses, as if thank God was with him. I don't know. But the gunman fired a second shot at the man during the Sunday afternoon confrontation in the parking lot of the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. So they got it right this time. But it did not hit anyone, and the victim and his brother were able to bring the shooter to the ground and subdue him there until the police arrived, according to the police and the prosecutors. So Alex Gorbetz, 66 of Gurney, was arrested and charged with the one count of attempted first-degree murder and one count of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. He was ordered held without bond at the initial court Tuesday in Skokie. So Gorbett and the man he is accused of shooting first met about 4 years ago while the man was working at a body shop in Waukegan. Both are immigrants from Ukraine who attended the same church, Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall, and they became friends, says a prosecutor. After the victim helped Gorbetz move several years ago, Gorbetz began to believe that he had stolen money from him, accusing the man of taking more than $250,000 and threatened him over the phone and in person, according to the attorney. So Malcolm said the victim reported one of the threats to the police in his hometown of Wheeling and Northbrook, where he worked at times. So this had been going on for some time, this money dispute. And Gorbetz allegedly asked the man if he was going to pay it before taking out this gun, this pistol, 40 caliber, out of his jacket, racking it and pointing at the victim at close range. The victim had a bag in his hand that contained the iPad. Malcolm said, telling the judge he held it up as a protection, like a shield, and the bullet went through the bag and into the iPad. The bullet left the man with a split fingernail, but he was otherwise uninjured, authorities say. So there's a picture of him. This is the guy that's charged with one count of first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and aggravated assault. I guess he was a brother. They were brothers. So this happens at Kingdom Halls, Jehovah's Witnesses. These two guys were going to the Kingdom Hall. The Jehovah's Witnesses aren't immune to these sorts of things. These are disputes over money. Now, normally Jehovah's Witnesses, the problem that I see in the Jehovah's Witness congregation is they use elders as the attorneys, as the judges within the congregation. So if you had a dispute with a brother over this money, this $250,000, you'd have to go to the body of elders. It's a civil dispute. A brother can't sue a brother. Normally, you'd take the brother to court. That's what we normally would do in the real world. But in the Jehovah's Witness world, you have to use the elders as attorneys. And I think this has to change. And this is why my opinion, why these things blow out to this extent, because they do not get handled properly in the Jehovah's Witness congregation. And I think that has to change. And I think it's things like this and us bringing this out because we know about it after spending 30 years, or many of us spent time in there. And I've had disagreements within the organization with brothers, business. And I couldn't bring outside people from my company in because they were worldly. So I had a dispute with two brothers, two elders, and they won because it was two brothers, two elders, and it was just me. I didn't have any other Jehovah's Witness. So the rule is at the mouth of two witnesses, they win. And they lied through their teeth. So it is what it is. But that's how it works in the Jehovah's Witness religion. You see, if I was to appear in court and fight these guys, I had all kinds of witnesses lined up, but I couldn't bring them in, and it was disqualified within the Jehovah's Witness religion. So unless things have changed, that's how it was when I was in the religion. Now we're going to move on. Jehovah's Witnesses, run away from bogus copyright claims after judge realizes they're just trying to intimidate critics. So this is actually old news. This is May 23rd, 2022. And this article I was looking at, it's the Jehovah's Witnesses are chasing a lot of the online people like ourselves, and especially the ones that are getting information that is leaked out of the Watchtower, like assembly programs. So this article names some of the guys, but they lost, like they had to leave court. They had to run out of court. So they put a lot of these subpoenas on all of these artists like us, and to stop us, hopefully just to shut us down. And mainly they want to find out who's leaking it out of Bethel, out of the Watchtower, so they can disfellowship them and deal with them. And the courts are siding for us little guys, and they're using laws to do it. So they're saying that we're allowed to do this, even if we get information that's hacked out of their computers. As long as we're not the hacker and we obtain it, we can use this information as critics. So I thought this was a really interesting little article. If you want to read the whole thing, you can. It's tech dirt. I can post it here for you in the description. But what I learned is the Watchtower, they're sending out lawyers, and they're telling they kind of said in court, yeah, we don't have any money. And then they had to show that they have over $1 billion in assets. And here the poor little guy like us, we have nothing. And so the judge is saying, you guys are bullying. Watchtower, you guys are bullying. You're bullying the critics, and they're scolding them and saying, quit doing that. So I don't think the Watchtower is going to be as hard after us as they were. But thanks to a few guys that have helped out, it mentions in this article, Watchtower was not pursuing identical copyright claims against another YouTube user, Lloyd Evans, as John Cedar, who used the same unpublished videos that McPhee had used, and many more. Watchtower did not go after Evans because it knew that he was not going to take any guff. And I think Evans had other things that he had to deal with the Watchtower. So if we stand up to the Watchtower, I think that's the important thing as other YouTubers. For us, we just stand up to what's right. And here's why I think that's happening. And I go to the scriptures again. This is from Luke chapter 12. And it says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. And it says in verse 1, in the meantime, when so many thousands of people had gathered together that they were trampling one another, he began to say to his disciples first, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And isn't that, friends, what we're looking at the Watchtower? It's the hypocrisy within the Watchtower. Beware of it. And it goes on in verse 2, nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. And verse 3 says, therefore, whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light, and what you have whispered in private rooms shall be proclaimed on the housetops. So that's what's happening today. The Watchtower, all these hidden things are being revealed, and what was hidden is now exposed. We have the internet, and the judges, the courts are exposing all of these abuse cases. Now we see how the elders are not working as lawyers. That does not work. That is not the design of the Bible. We have modern day courts. And if we look at other scriptures like Romans 13 verse 1, it says to obey governing authorities. So if we live in a land where we have to report sex offenses and things like that, then that's what the Bible tells us we have to do. But everything that is hidden will be revealed. And isn't that what's happening right now, folks? So until next time, keep living your life with love. And have a great day. Bye for now.